And we are live. Welcome, everybody. Just getting all of our announcements out here. Bear with me for just a second. All right. I see a few of you in the Threadcast already. Welcome in, Con. Let's see. Just waiting on the Discord announcements here. You guys can start dropping questions if you would like to. We don't have Mitch today. He is stuck at the bank. So we will see him next Tuesday. Thanks. Threadcast. And yeah, I'm on manga. No cat today. He is stuck in the real world, unfortunately. Also, I'm trying. I'm streaming on a new service this time, seeing if we can ditch Zoom because I've been having. I don't know if you guys have remembered, but I've been having a lot of issues with Zoom over the last couple calls. So I wanted to try doing it with a different platform. So we'll see how we perform with this one. Welcome, Winanda, Sunseeker. Welcome. Let's see here. And we are live everywhere. Cool. I think all the announcements are good. See, the X space is good. Threadcast is being recorded. All right. So go ahead and just start dropping your questions. In the meantime, I will be giving a couple updates. So let me start on that now that I think our streams are all good. So yeah, OBSX. Cool. Yeah, Winanda, nice job tagging people. Tag more people and get them into the show. We should get as many of them in as we can. I know Dash is also doing a Threadcast, so I'll keep this AMA to like an hour, and then hopefully we have time. We can all jump over to the Dash cast and say what's up over there. Hey, Winanda. Cat in a bank sounds interesting. Security cat in a bank. Let's see here. That's all good. All right. OBS is good. Let's start with the announcements. So while you guys drop your questions, let me give you a few updates of all the things that have been happening in the Leoverse. There is quite a lot. And I know we're trying to do a show last, I think that was on last Wednesday. Yeah, it was last Wednesday. That didn't end up working out, which is why we're on a new streaming platform. So let's see if it is more smooth today. But the first thing to kind of dive into is obviously an update on the proposal. So, is my background backwards? I guess the way this platform works, the background is backwards. I wonder if I can change that. Wait, that's on Zoom. Isn't my background always backwards or no? I think it's always flipped. Let's see here. Where's the stream? Stream. Isn't it always flipped? Cinema thumbnails. Stand by. Mirror camera. Now I think we're good, right? Let me know if it's still flipped. Main thing to not have flipped is the INLEO logo. But I think that looks better. And I think on Zoom, it's usually flipped. So maybe this platform's even better for that. Anyways, so one of the biggest updates is that the proposal is now funded. We are obviously still pushing because we're only about 200K over the line. So, the work in terms of trying to get more distance above the proposal return line is more important now than ever. We want to maintain that funding, and having funding for a day or two isn't going to make a big difference for us. So, we need to maintain that funding and obviously continue to get more distance above the line. As of right now, INLEO is one of 2 projects funded on the DHF, based on community support. So that's, obviously without the biggest, kind of voter that can give you like 27 million Hive power. So I think that's a huge accomplishment for us. It's literally us and Keychain that are funded on the DHF, just solely based on community support. So I think that says a lot about how strong our community is, and how willful we can be on the Hive blockchain. I think a lot of people can count us out in a lot of ways, but we've been building on Hive for 6 years now, and I think our technology has really progressed in a way that most people are surprised by. People said that a lot of the things we wanted to do were completely impossible and would never happen. And I think what we've shown over the years is that we set I think our biggest skill as a team is that we set a goal and we do whatever it takes to make that goal happen. So we set that kind of end state vision, and then we just are very stubborn. I would say if we were a superhero, I would say our superpower is being stubborn. So stubbornness is off the charts when it comes to the INLEO team, and I think that's how we make progress. Is we set a vision and then we stubbornly do everything we can every single day to make that vision a reality. So those are the qualities I look for when adding people to the team, and when focusing on how we grow our dev team and how we make progress on a regular basis is literally just how stubborn can we be. So if you go through the threadcast, about 15 minutes ago, I posted a few things that I was going to update you guys on. So if you want to follow along, you can scroll down the threadcast and find those things. So the first one is it's a screenshot that says open source Hive technology. And you'll see a few things listed there. Those are a few of the things I've been talking about the past couple of weeks. The shift in INLEO's approach to our proposal, I think is the main reason that we're funded right now. And that is a shift towards open sourcing more of our technology. And I think there's a bigger piece to that than just simply open sourcing our technology. We're also opening up APIs and access points for all Hive interfaces and applications. So, excuse me, as opposed to, just building open source technology that, is basically just used by our application, because I think that tends to be the case with a lot of open source tech. You build it open source, and obviously every UI is built in, or most UIs are built in different frameworks. And a lot of that technology can't be utilized across UIs. So, it's one thing to build things open source, but I think it's a whole other thing to actually build final products as APIs that can be utilized by other applications. Because a lot of times just the raw code base, while it can, help another project in terms of, figuring out how they can build it for themselves, or being able to fork the code and obviously adapt it to what they need. There are so many nuances to the way that different applications are built, the way that different platforms are built. And one way around those nuances is to actually build APIs that can be final products, where, instead of a UI having to go to our code base and, either fork it or just look at it to guide their development because it's written in a completely different language, they can actually just take an API endpoint, build a UI around it inside of their UI, and then use the API, endpoint in order to drive the actual, technology and actually utilize it. So it allows interfaces to quickly and seamlessly, and I like to call it plug and play, with a lot of the technologies that we've built. So my goal with many of these things, pretty much all of them, is that we not only open source the raw code base itself, but that we actually accompany that with an API that is an endpoint that can easily be utilized by any Hive application out there. And I think that adds a lot more value to this ecosystem than just simply open sourcing our code base, because we're we're primarily written in Rust, and most other Hive UIs, I'm not sure if any other Hive UIs are built in the same framework that we are. So, even if we open source the entire INLEO, ecosystem of front end and back end repositories, I don't think that would actually have much of a material impact for other Hive applications. I think a much bigger impact would be, yes, open source some of those code bases, because I think that that's just a valuable thing to do, in the long run. But mostly in terms of the APIs, where we are building and maintaining technology, and that technology is plug and play for other applications via those APIs. So I actually think that the world is headed in a very API intensive direction. We're already kind of there, but it's just getting more and more, it's proliferating more and more in terms of, the majority of applications out there are all running various API frameworks. And, a lot of the biggest builders in various spaces, not just crypto, are actually API providers. So I think a big direction for INLEO going forward is actually to just be an API provider on Hive. We continue to innovate our platform and build our platform, but instead of just doing those technologies for INLEO only, we accompany all of our innovation with APIs that can allow other interfaces to integrate the same technologies that we're innovating. So, things like threads with the microblogging, things like shorts with the short form videos, things like creator subscriptions, etc. So a lot of these features that we've built, that other interfaces and applications come to me and ask, how they can build the same thing. I think open sourcing the code base wouldn't actually allow them to necessarily just say, okay, we can just fork this and put it into our code, because everyone's written in different frameworks. But if we built APIs for them and made them plug and play, now you have a finalized product that can be utilized by all these other applications on Hive. So, not only are we building this user-facing technology with INLEO.io, but we're actually accompanying it with the APIs that are kind of more B2B for other applications on Hive. So instead of going out and selling access to those APIs, which we could do, I wanted to wrap them in with our proposal. So as long as our proposal is funded, I think INLEO should just continue to provide these APIs, as open source and openly available plug and play APIs for any Hive UI out there. So, these things are now, we're actually rolling them out already. So a few things are already live. And like I said, if you want to follow along, I've got some of these things posted, earlier in the threadcast. But already live are the Keystore Hive accounts, and that is both the open source code base and the API for them as well. The X and Google Lite accounts are also live. Again, both the APIs and the open source code base. And then the dynamic resource credit delegation system and the account creation tokens are also live as an API. So that API is live. The code base for that is not yet live. We're refining that a little bit, and then we'll release that open source as well as part of this proposal. But the APIs are already live for that. So actually, if a application on Hive taps into our onboarding framework, they can add Keystore Lite account or Keystore Hive accounts, X and Google Lite accounts, and also the dynamic RC delegation system and the account creation tokens in terms of our resources, all are wrapped into that one API. So when a Hive application adds that, they actually get access to all those things simultaneously. And I think that that's really powerful because, like, for example, let's just say an application like Like2 wants to add Keystore Hive account signups and logins, and also X and Google Lite account signups and logins. They can actually just tap into our API. And if you go back through the INLEO Finance post, you'll see from last week, I posted the documentation for it. So they can actually just go to that documentation. It gives them the step-by-step instructions on how to integrate our onboarding framework. And then they can integrate the framework, and it actually uses our resources if they use the API for the signups and the logins. So for example, like, let's say that Like2 adds it, and then a new user comes in and they sign up on Like2 for Hive. And let's just say that they use the Keystore implementation. So they sign up using Keystore. They will get a Hive account, and that uses our account creation tokens in order to give them the Hive account. So it's using INLEO's resources, and we've got obviously a couple million Hive power for that. And then it uses our resource credit delegation system in order to make sure that that new user always has resources in order to interact on the blockchain. So if you don't know, you need RCs on Hive in order to post content to the blockchain. You're not given any RCs, you're not really given any material amount of RCs when you sign up. So someone needs to delegate them to you, or you need to buy Hive. Obviously, for a brand new user, I don't think it's likely that they're just going to go out and buy Hive immediately in order to use the blockchain. So I think for a short period of time, we should give them an RC delegation, and that RC delegation allows them to interact for a little while, get familiar with the blockchain, and then hopefully they get hooked on it like all of us did over the past couple of years. And then, they go out and buy their own Hive power, and they no longer need our resource credit delegations because those don't last forever. The way our dynamic system works is that when a new user signs up, they get a little bit of RCs from us. And then when they get active, they get more and more RCs as theirs run low. So if they get really active immediately, you'll actually see that they just continue to get bigger and bigger RC delegations from our accounts. And the reason for that is just that's the whole dynamic part of it, is that user is becoming more active and they need more RCs. So our system gives them more RCs. And then if that user becomes less active or inactive, you'll actually see our resource credit delegation to them gets decreased over time. So that's the dynamic part of things, where we can make sure that it's like an as needed basis, where when a new user signs up, they have enough RCs to interact. And if they are inactive, then they obviously lose access to some of those RCs. If they suddenly become active again, then we start to delegate to them again. So there is an upper limit threshold to that. And I think, if a user gets to that threshold, they should probably be buying Hive at that point, because it means that they're quite active. So all of this stuff that I've just described is live, and any application on Hive can integrate it. So we're talking to a few applications right now. They have to build their own, obviously, UI framework for it in terms of front end. But if they tap into the API, it all just works for them. So again, my goal is to build plug and play, application ready, products in terms of these APIs. And we've definitely done that with the onboarding text. So I would love to see more UIs integrated. If you guys, know anyone who has a UI or just want to tag a UI where you wish that they had it, I would highly recommend doing that, and they can reach out to me if they need any help. But like I said, the documentation is live. The open source code base is something that they can just look at, and they can fork it if they want to, or they can try to implement it on their own. And if they don't want to go through that hassle, then they can just use the APIs and tap into our resources, for doing so. So those things are live. The other thing that's live is the Half SQL API access. So if any of you guys are listening or know any applications that want access to Half SQL, it's essentially a way to pull data from the Hive blockchain. We run our own Half SQL node. And as part of the proposal, I was looking for, different APIs and resources that we can share with the Hive ecosystem and other applications to add more value to the Hive ecosystem. And Half SQL access was one of those things. So that's live now. And if you want to tap into it, just reach out to me, because you do have to get whitelisted for that. And we obviously, if we notice anybody abusing that, we'll take you off the whitelist, just because it obviously utilizes resources. The next thing that we're going to push live is the accounts API. So we, INLEO has kind of built our own accounts API that allows for not only like the basic account data, that there's other APIs out there that allow you to pull like basic account data. But we've built an API that pulls that in addition to a lot of other important information for accounts. And that's been really important for different things like creator subscriptions, being an example. Hopefully I didn't cut out. I got a phone call, so it may have cut me out for a second. I think I'm back. So, we built this API so that things like creator subscriptions can work. And that's important to release next, because we are going to release the referral system and the creator subscriptions APIs as well. And those will require obviously being able to tap into the accounts API that we've built. So releasing the accounts API is like a lead domino for those things. After that, the creator subscriptions APIs, the cross UI bookmarks framework. And then, I would say like a really big one is all the new sign up options that we've built. So that is Ledger, Trust Wallet, Trezor, and others. So yeah, we are adding all those sign up options. I know you guys have seen my screenshots, of all the different login options that we've been adding. Pretty much every major crypto wallet, and it works very similar to Keystore. We've built like a whole framework for all of these wallets. So we're going to start rolling them out one by one. And in addition to rolling them out, like I said, on INLEO's UI, we're also rolling out the open source code base and the APIs in order to access them. So those are kind of the main, APIs and open source code bases that we're releasing. So I think that those are obviously already having a big impact. That's why our proposal is funded. But like I said, we need to keep pushing in terms of getting more support on our proposal, because we're only about 200,000 over the line, and obviously you need to get some distance on it if you want to stay funded. So that's very important that we continue to gather votes and support. I hope that this approach that INLEO is taking to provide as much value as we can to Hive is something that gets us more support, especially in the long run. I think it's a no-brainer that we're building all these APIs and all this open source technology, and we're not asking for funding, because I was talking to someone yesterday about this. We're not asking for funding in order to build this stuff. Like, we've already built a lot of this stuff, and we're going to continue to build, add to it, maintain it, and obviously innovate new technologies. But we want to, we're asking for funding not for the building part of it, because we've already done that, and we are self-funded in terms of development. We're asking for the funding to then take these things to market, because I think a big missing piece, and I'm not just specifically talking about Hive, I'm just talking about in general. I think a big missing piece is that people build technologies, they build open source things, but if you don't take those things to market and get real users and real people using them, what is really the point of building all these open source technologies? I think that the point is moot. If you're not getting actual users, then there is no real product market fit, and the product just doesn't matter. So, my thing has always been, build great technologies and get people to use them. So our proposal is about, we're already building these technologies, whether we're funded or not. But the proposal is about open sourcing these technologies, releasing these plug and play APIs, and then taking them to market. So we're asking for the funding to take these things to market, to work with other ecosystems like Solana, Arbitrum, and others, and get their communities onboarded to Hive through these technologies. So, like I said, I think you need to have like two different mindsets about our proposal. There's one key piece that is, we are releasing, we're releasing all this technology open source. And then the other key piece is that we're asking for the funding to take that stuff to market. So I think that is a critical lead domino. As Sunseeker said, INLEO giving results before the proposal was even approved. That's great commitment. Yeah, I think, our commitment to, just providing value hopefully is obvious, as we, over the last really 10 to 15 days, we've been just rolling out all this open source tech, even though we weren't funded for the last 10 to 15 days. So we only got funded yesterday. We were releasing this stuff before we were funded. So I think this is just, my way of showing that we're committed to building on Hive both now and in the long run. And having the support of the proposal allows us to not only continue to, we're already going to continue building this technology and open source it, but we want the funding to take them to market, which I think is the critical piece of things. Anyone can build, open source technologies and innovate things. And obviously it's a very hard thing to do. And that's something that I've spent a lot of years refining my approach on and getting better at in terms of building a team for it. But the real challenge, in my opinion, is taking things to market, getting real human beings to use these things, and onboard people to Hive that are both users and investors. So, I want the Hive ecosystem to succeed. I obviously own a lot of Hive power, and I've built a business for the last 6 years on top of Hive. Our success rides on Hive's success. So building all these things open source, allowing other applications to tap into them, helping other applications grow, and doing the collaboration approach to growth with these technologies is how I think we grow, not just INLEO, but the entire Hive ecosystem. So again, the proposal, giving us the funding to take these things to market, I think is really the key idea I'm trying to convey to different people out there. Because I think, there's plenty of proposals out there that offer open source technology in exchange for funding. That's not what we're doing. What INLEO is trying to do is release open source technology, maintain, add, and continue to innovate it, but ask for funding in order to take it to market. So our approach is different. There's no other proposal like it in terms of asking for the funding to take all these technologies we've built and continue to build actually to the market and collaborate with ecosystems where I have connections with, the Solana team, the Arbitrum team, the Chainflip team, Chainlink, and really take all of what Hive is really great at and bring it to these communities and these ecosystems and these teams and bring those people to Hive. And I think INLEO is uniquely positioned to do that for the Hive blockchain. So that was really long-winded, but that covers the open source part of things, which I would say is obviously has been one of the biggest focus points for our team, over the past, like I said, 10 to 15 days. And we're going to continue. We've got other, like I said, in that list, we've got other things that we're getting ready to release right now. I'm just looking through the comments. Yeah, you guys have made 100 comments in 10 minutes. So I'm just going to catch up right now. HiveTuber said, so much commitment from the INLEO team. Yep, we are just going to continue grinding it out. I think it's like I said, I think our unique skill set is that we are extremely stubborn. So, we've set out to do these collaborations. We've set out to grow the Hive ecosystem, and I think that we are uniquely positioned to do so. And we're going to stubbornly continue to chase that vision. Yeah, task. Yeah, we need a buffer for sure. Can't just sit. If you're 200K above the line, I mean, you're really one voter from being defunded again. And again, our goal is to take these things to market, and we can't do that if our funding is like on one day, off 7 days, on one day, off 7 days. Like that's not going to get us, the progress that we're looking for. So we need to make sure that we get a nice buffer here and continue to get more support. And I hope that, I've changed our approach a lot in that, showing our commitment through actions rather than words, I think is the way that we need to keep pushing forward. And I'm happy to see that it's been having an impact. As we've released these open source things, I've seen a lot of people come and say that they want to support us because they support this direction of being open source and contributing to the Hive ecosystem in more ways than just building a successful application, which, obviously building a successful app on Hive is a great way to support the ecosystem. But I think doing that while we build these APIs for other Hive apps to also tap into our technology is a way that we add even more value to what we're already doing. Yeah, Ahmad Manga said, wait, you added hardware wallets too. Yeah, we added hardware wallets as well to the framework. So you'll actually be able to sign up and log into Hive using various hardware wallets like Ledger, Trezor, and others. So that's all a part of the new framework that we've built. And it's all getting added, again, open source to this repo that we've released. So, it's just going to add more, and if any UIs come in and they add our APIs, it'll just add more and more login options over time. So like right now it's Keystore, X, and Google Lite accounts. The Keystore is a full Hive account and the X and Google ones are Lite accounts. Those are all rolled out. All three of those are rolled out already. And then all those new wallet options will get rolled out to those APIs and the open source code base automatically. CCon, thanks for coming. Enjoy your dinner. Wananda likes the Trust Wallet option. Yeah, we are adding Trust Wallet. Actually, we've already added it. It's part of the framework, so it's just in testing. Yeah, the HiveTuber, we are open sourcing the referral system, so other UIs can, take the code base or tap into the API. Ahmad Manga, it's not an API key. It's a dedicated IP address. So yeah, you'll need a dedicated IP for that. So if you have like a floating IP, it's not going to work. So, having like a virtual private server or just a dedicated IP will make that work. See here, getting more active RCs, more focus needed on threads. Yeah, I mean, I think I try to curate primarily on threads these days to just encourage more engagement. More T's on their way home from work and listening. My manga said, how many interfaces have decided to implement the onboarding API? There's been about 6 or 7 that have committed to working on it, and then I'm hoping to see more, obviously. And I think once we get a handful of new integrations, I think more and more UIs will jump in and add it. I think it's one of those things where like once a few people add it, then all the other UIs are going to probably want to add it. So like I said, it's all open source and the APIs are open access. So it's really just kind of waiting for UIs to want to integrate it. Dash said, congrats on being #1 on Maya. Yeah, we will get into that. But yeah, over the last week, LeoDex has become the #1 Maya UI in terms of trading volume. Sheeb asks about SwapKit. How is our SwapKit going? Are you finishing it? Yeah, it's going well. I will dive into the LeoDex updates shortly. Let's see here. I think I'm getting pretty caught up. All right, I'd say I'm caught up back there. So let's see. Ahmad Manga, if you want a dedicated IP, there are other ways to do it. I think ExpressVPN and some other applications like that allow you to get a dedicated IP address for a small fee. So if it's something that you wanted to access, you would obviously need that first. But let me know if you figure that out and then want access. Ahmad Manga said, I'm increasing my Hive power about 10 to 50 Hive power every week. If there are hundreds of me, we won't have to worry about the proposal defunded. That's why I encourage the INLEO community, grow your stake in Hive power and, curate each other on threads and in blog posts. It's growing our collective power as a community and ecosystem is only going to be a net benefit to us in the long run. So yeah, I mean, continue to stack up your Hive power. And also when you see other, community members that are active on threads, active on blog posts and active on shorts and in other places, and obviously active in threadcasts, especially with the AMAs, upvote them, curate them, and know that their Hive power growing benefits the entire INLEO community. Let's see. iJat said, does the INLEO's team coffee and energy drink purchases amount to 20 or 30% of your whole budget? The pace is still increasing. Yeah, it's I'd say various forms of caffeine make up a lot of our dev budget. Lord Shah is listening in X. Thanks for coming by. Taskmaster said, be sure to add content in different languages to add to Leo AI. It is crucial to get native content. Yeah, it is. Obviously I think primarily things are in English, but especially with AI, it's able to translate everything. So as you guys have seen, we added the language update to INLEO, and there are other language updates coming, but AI is very good with translations. So that's obviously going to be something that just continues to expand in terms of our ability to handle other languages. Tasker said, I didn't see, will there be a Coinbase integration? Yeah, we added the Coinbase wallet. So that's already live, live in beta. And then we also, obviously have the base blockchain integrated in terms of swaps. So that's coming in the new update as well. So you'll be able to swap with assets on the base blockchain as well through LeoDex. Sunseeker said, I love seeing that the apps are willing to collaborate. Hive needs more of it. We are social. We got to be social within our own ecosystem. People notice that. Yeah, I think it's great, and I've seen a few Hive owners, Hive app owners, reach out to me since we've open sourced a lot of our technologies over the past couple weeks, and it's awesome to see those app owners reach out and say that they want to work together and collaborate and grow the ecosystem together. I think collaboration is going to be the approach to growth that matters, not just in terms of us collaborating with my friends at Solana, Arbitrum, and other blockchains, but also collaborating with other applications within Hive. I think is going to be really important as well. So with all the LeoDex questions, I might as well jump into some of the LeoDex updates that I dropped. Let me pull those up. So if you guys, again, scroll back to the beginning of the Threadcast if you want to follow along with the screenshots I shared. Actually, maybe I can just make this easy. When I talk about one, I'll just share it again. I'll rethread it to you guys. All right, so I just rethreaded that. But I rethreaded a screenshot of LeoDex over the last 7 days. So we've done 4.7 million in trading volume. That obviously puts us, like Dash said, at the top of the list for Maya protocols. So that's been awesome to see. And I think we just need to continue to improve our app. I think it's a signal that we're kind of headed in the right direction by putting a lot of focus into LeoDex. And I think the future of the Leo economy is in LeoDex's success. There's obviously a lot of money in the multi-chain world in terms of cross-chain swapping. So we're just going to continue to roll out update after update for LeoDex. Obviously, we've been working on this really big update for the past really few months now. But it is getting close to being in beta. I think we'll be in like a publicly accessible beta by Thursday of this week. So that's what I'm pushing for with the team. So that gives us about 48 hours from now is when I'm hoping to have the public beta live for the new version of LeoDex. So that new version of LeoDex allows you to use Thorchain. It allows you to use Chainflip and Rango in addition to Maya, which we already have, obviously. So it adds all 4 of the major cross-chain protocols into LeoDex. And then when you quote a swap, it'll actually quote it across all 4 protocols at the same time. And it'll tell you the cheapest route. So it'll tell you the cheapest route and the fastest route. And then you can also pick the trade-off of like cheapest, what is like cheaper and faster. And there's like usually kind of a trade-off. So you can pick which route is best at the time. And then, kind of go from there. But yeah, I think adding those routes is going to be huge for LeoDex volume. Obviously right now we only allow Maya trading. So adding these other protocols is going to be huge for that volume. In addition to that, we are adding the big wallet update. So that's our wallet framework that's also going to get utilized for the Hive signups. But that wallet framework allows you to use, the Coinbase wallet, Ledger, Trezor, Trust Wallet, and many of these other options. So we're adding a lot of wallet optionality along with the 4 protocols all going live simultaneously. So that's going to be huge, obviously, in terms of potential trading volume that INLEO can attract. I think it's, significant in terms of what we can do with LeoDex. And then the next screenshot I shared, which I am going to paste in the Threadcast now, is of the first Thorchain swap that happened on LeoDex. So we've been obviously doing some tests, and yesterday we did the first Thorchain swap using LeoDex. So we're continuing to do some private testing before we get ready to go into public beta, hopefully again on Thursday, where you guys can come in and use LeoDex, the new version of LeoDex, which allows you to use Thorchain, Chainflip, Rango, and obviously Maya as well. And I will share a screenshot of the beta UI. But yeah, the beta UI should go live by Thursday, and then it'll quote all the different protocols. So I just rethreaded a screenshot of that. So, we're continuing to push forward in terms of what we've been, what LeoDex is capable of. And I think that that's a great thing for our ecosystem. I think a big change for us going forward is with the Leo tokenomics are going to shift, I think, pretty dramatically. I don't want to get into that right now, but we'll get into that later in terms of the focus on LeoDex. I think that there's going to be some really cool optionality for where our Leo economy goes from here. And it all has to do with LeoDex. So I'm excited to see where LeoDex goes. The focus is add these protocols, add these wallet options, continue to grow in terms of trading volume, and then see, where that takes us in terms of the Leo token economy. Ahmad Manga, I'm actually really happy we're adding Base to LeoDex. It's my current favorite EVM-based blockchain and where I keep my USDC assets. Yeah, it's good to know. Yeah, it'll, the new version of LeoDex will obviously allow you to interact with the Base blockchain. So I think it'll be, great. Yeah, Guri, LeoDex is growing in a good way. Absolutely. David Pena, yeah, anyone can use LeoDex. It is at leodex.io. Lord Shad, the trading fees on LeoDex autonomously buy Leo and pool it. So I think in the long run, that may change to buy and burns. But again, I don't want to get into the tokenomics too much. But yeah, it's autonomously used for the Leo token economy. So I think it's only going to continue to improve. Lord Shah said, can we automate LeoDex trades with a trading AI bot? Yeah, I think some cool AI models will come out that can use LeoDex. Obviously, a lot of our work on Leo AI will cross over as well. So I think there's a lot of great crossover in terms of AI. Gargi, yeah, LeoDex is doing great. We need to just continue to improve it. iJets. iJets, if you post a screenshot with hashtag feedback, I'll take a look. I really don't know what that issue is that you're having. But yeah, post a screenshot with hashtag feedback and I will take a look. But I haven't seen that issue personally. Mod Manga said, will there be a referral system in LeoDex with fee sharing that will convince a lot of people with connections in crypto to promote it without us doing anything? Yeah, I think we can, take the referral framework that we've built for INLEO and use it on LeoDex as well. I think that would make a lot of sense. So yeah, I do think that down the road on the roadmap will be a referral system on top of LeoDex as well. So that if you share a link similar to INLEO, you share a link and then someone comes in and they start swapping, you get some sort of referral from that. I think that's definitely a good option. Take a few more questions and then jump off of here because we're almost on an hour. Yeah, Guri, really the best thing is to post a, is to continue to make the product better. So that is definitely my focus is how can we just continue to improve the product and make the best, swapping UI that we're capable of making. But yeah, if you guys have a few final questions, I will take those before we jump out of here. Lord Shah, I'm not sure what you mean by authorization protocol. But yeah, LeoDex works. It's obviously a Dex interface, so you connect to your own wallet, and there's no funds on LeoDex in any sort of way. So, Guri, when Splinterlands collaboration? It's already live. So if you go to settings, there's a Splinterlands theme now, and you can obviously earn SPS for engaging. Solomon, thanks for the updates. Love that base is coming to LeoDex. Yeah, it is coming in this new update. Both the Coinbase wallet as well as the base blockchain for trading. So, yeah, I think it'll have a big impact. Drax, when you type password for LeoDex, there is no password for LeoDex, so I'm not sure what you mean. When you use LeoDex, you connect your wallet. So it connects your wallet, whatever crypto wallet you use, and that's how it works. So there's no LeoDex password. The Hive tuber, I assume you're on like an Android device or something, and there's just a lot of nuances with those. So I'm just not sure in terms of the typing issues. But if you report them to #feedback, if there's anything we can do, then we'll work on it. Drax, oh, you're asking if you connect Keystore, it asks your password. Yeah, that's your decryption password for your Keystore. So no, that decryption happens locally when you obviously, that's just how a Keystore works. So you upload your Keystore, and then to decrypt the content inside of your Keystore, you enter your password and it decrypts it. Lord Shah, we're not currently working on, having our own video server. I think ThreeSpeak is a great solution for that, and I think they'll continue to innovate and improve. So I think we should, just support them in any way we can, and obviously utilize them for video storage. IJATS, there is no announcement yet on that, but with the proposal getting funded since yesterday, I have to say maybe soon. Maybe soon. Thanks for coming to Mod Manga. I think we are also about to jump out of here. So if you guys got like one or two more questions, I will take them now. But yeah, thanks for coming to Mod Manga. We'll see you next Tuesday for the AMA. See you later, Sheeb. Thanks for coming. Wananda said when soon. That is the title of the show. I will always have soons for your whens. The Hive tuber said, I'm just happy the proposal is live. INLEO really deserves it, knowing the purpose of the funding. Hope it stays that way. Too much projects for us to showcase to more people. Yeah, I hope so as well. Obviously, I agree. I think we just continue to push out value, and hopefully that value gets recognized on Hive. As we continue to do so, that we've done it for 6 years and we'll continue to do it. So as we continue to open source more tech and release it for other Hive applications, I'm excited to see what we can do. But yeah, I think that covers us. So thanks for coming, everybody. I'm glad we had a good AMA today, over 200 comments, and it's been a good one. So hopefully you liked the updates. Just as a quick recap, obviously the open source technology is something that we've been really heavily focused on. So we've been releasing those APIs, and I've been talking to a lot of Hive applications behind the scenes who want to add those APIs and also see our open source code bases. So we've been releasing all of that stuff and working with other UIs so that they can integrate it. And then obviously a lot of focus into Leo Dex, making it the best UI that we're capable of, and just getting more volume really is our goal there. So we're going to add all 3 of the other protocols, and then we'll be servicing, all 4 major cross-chain trading protocols, and then obviously adding all the different Hive or wallet options, including Hive Keychain, of course, is already live on Leo Dex. So having all the different wallet options and having all the different protocols, and then from there, that's kind of the baseline that we need to then continue to refine the application, add more features, make the experience as great as possible, and then obviously chase down more users and more trading volume. So, Leo Dex being a big focus going forward as well. But yeah, great AMA. Thanks to Hive Tuber. Thanks Wananda. Thanks Morty. Thanks Guri. Thanks Lord Shah. Thanks everybody for coming, and we will see you next Tuesday. I'm sure the cat will be back in